Welcome back, everyone. You got the Coronas and the suntan?
Just the suntan lotion.
And just in case the sun comes out again. We're on location, and there are locations, and then there's Bob's Trees. And joining me today is Doug Eaton, third generation?
Third, that's right.
Unbelievable. So we got a big story to tell you. And the reason we came out here today really has to do with the fact that when you think about the holiday season, you know, you think about tradition and you think about family, right, Doug?
That's true.
And for the years that my wife and I have been coming here and getting our tree at Christmas time and then getting shrubbery during the summer, it just really hits you. There's something very unique going on here. So at any rate, Doug, let's go back, I think, late 40s, right? Like 1948, 49?
1948 was about the time they sold the first trees, yeah.
And there's an interesting history here, by the way, folks. There was a sawmill in the past, right? And that's really where the business started.
Yeah, they had a sawmill, and they at a point said, well, instead of cutting down all these trees, we could also plant some new ones. And so that's how it got started.
Mm-hmm. Eaton's Folly was a term I heard.
Yeah, that's, I think, possibly right, the right way it was done back then. People locally that knew what was going on, what he was trying to do, I think they made kind of light of it and didn't think that it could ever amount to anything, and I guess...
Why would anybody want to sell Christmas trees, right?
Right.
Okay, folks, we fast forward, and now we're in the thousands of trees. And the spirit around here, especially around holiday time, is just really amazing. You know, Doug, I've interviewed you a bunch of times, and every time that we come out here, we see it, there's just a certain passion you have about what you do. You know, does it have to do with the earth, you know, trees, plants,
well,
botany?
There's some of that.
Yeah.
You know, I did go to school for the horticultural aspect. You know, he said, well, what do you like about it? Is it being outside all day? Is it this or that? Well, no, as I said, ignorance is bliss. It's something, it's the only thing I've ever done. I don't know any different. So, you know, yeah.
Yeah, but you really do it well. I really gotta hand it to you and everybody else that I've met here. You know, we've got, your father's Bob, right?
That's correct.
And then there's Dave.
Yep, my uncle.
Your uncle. We've got Kathy. We got the new generation coming, Stephanie.
Quite
right?
possibly.
So it's just really something to see. Let's talk about holiday time for just right now, because that's where we are. Over the course of the winter, you know, bring your family here. You can get a tree, you can get wreaths, right? You can get garlands. They got a wonderful gift shop here. They have something called the Kissing Balls, which, you know,
Christmas ball.
I just think it's a better name. You know?
Yeah, we don't know who came up with that.
Yeah, I don't know. What genius came up with the name Kissing Ball? But let's just call it Christmas Ball. The handmade, we're going to show some shots of the wreath shop.
Yeah.
Because the wreaths are made here as well.
They do a wonderful job. They're very talented.
Boy, they really do. Again, you know, the whole idea of getting a fresh cut tree. And I want to talk about that for a second. You know, obviously I've been around the block for a few years, Doug. And when I come here and I get a fresh cut tree, and you have the option here, you can cut your own tree
You
too.
can cut your own.
Right, because I've
do
seen
a pre-cut.
some adventurous types come in and want to do cut their own tree. But, you know, I'm also one of those guys, my wife and I, we put up the tree, and Valentine's Day we're kind of thinking, maybe it's about time.
It's time.
We took it down. You know, the trees are fresh cut, and the needles stay on the trees. And we've commented a bunch of times that by the time February rolls around and we're ready to take our tree down, you know, the needles are still there and stuff like that. There really is something about a fresh cut tree.
Yeah, for the most part, you know, you're dealing with something that, especially if you're cutting your own, you know that you just, it's like taking the grapes off the vine, I guess. You know, it's a tree that's been growing for 8 to 10 years, and you're going to cut it down and bring it into the house, and for all intents and purposes, it should last quite a long time.
You know, a couple of tips though, right?
Yeah.
About it. Yeah, tell us.
One of the first things, make sure if it's been a little while after you got your tree, if you've let it sit in the garage or something, or if it's had a long trip and you didn't cover the end of it and it's got a lot of wind, you want to make a sliver of a cut on that tree, and that's always a good idea to make a fresh cut before you put it up. You want to start with warm water, not hot, just warm, and just don't let it run out of water. That's the key thing. I think people will forget, and then it runs out of water, and then it just never really takes up water like it should again the right way. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I want to pick up on that because the first year I was really surprised. You know, we checked the water and it was gone after like 2 days. I thought to myself, well, this tree's cut down. What's going on here? But he's really the point he's making is really true. Just give that the base of the tree just a little bit of a cut if you need to, and make sure you keep watering it. And you can add some additives to that water too, right? Like a plant food or whatever. Yeah.
People ask us all the time, oh, should I put aspirin in or should I put sugar in?
Yeah, right. I've heard that.
I don't have any personal experience with that. The only product that we've ever used or recommended is Prolong, and that works really well. That I can tell you, it definitely helps.
I got it. And over the course of the winter, by the way, we've got Santa's Playland here, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of cutouts that we've accumulated over some years, and people love to have that for photo opportunities.
Yeah, it's true. Snack bar, you want to get out of the cold. If you're coming here and wandering around and just taking in the beautiful sights, you can get in there and get a hot dog, get a hamburger, you can get a cup of coffee.
Yep,
right?
chocolate.
Hot chocolate.
Lots of hot chocolate comes out of there.
I love it. And, I'm telling you, we happen to come out here early in the morning because it's the only time. Otherwise, this place is absolutely mobbed. But it's a wonderful tradition, right, Doug?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you bring your family out here, you get to select a tree. One last thing about the trees. Different types, right? I happen to love the balsams because they smell great. But what are the others? Douglas and what are the others?
Unfortunately, we can't grow Douglas fir anymore due to some disease problems that are prevalent in the area. But the main ones we grow now are balsam, which is the most conducive for us as a grower in our land here, the soil conditions, cannon fir, and I guess people in the South call it canane. But
yeah, right, I've heard that. Yeah.
So canane fir, balsam fir, Fraser fir is probably the most popular, but it's one of the hardest for us to grow on our ground.
Right. And the grounds we're talking about here, the farm is in excess of 500 acres.
Correct.
That is unbelievable. So you talk about generations, you talk about traditions, you talk about people who have a passion for what they do. That's why Bob's Trees is so special. Now, moving into spring, I know that we come at springtime you kind of turn it into, is nursery the right word?
Yeah, I think most people that come see us at this time of the year, most of them don't know that, we're open the rest of the year and that we have a garden center like a lot of other places do, but what is different, again, just like the trees that we grow here, for Christmas, we also grow the deciduous trees and the evergreens out in the fields, so it's a nursery. We grow it here, and it's locally grown, locally dug, and brought into our yards for people to take home and plant in their yards.
You know what, I'm just going to leave with one last thing. I've been here, and I think it was Dave who took me across the road where all these trees were being grown, and there's an irrigation system in there. It is quite a bit of work. He makes it sound like, oh, it's locally grown. But I got news for you. These people work long hours every day to make absolutely certain that when you come and you get something here, that it's locally grown, and you can count on the fact that it's going to be healthy. I know it because we bought some arborvitaes and they just took off like somebody, just said, okay, everybody get up,
Yeah, there's a lot of people that work really hard here all year round.
Yeah, I know they do.
Definitely grateful for those people that are helping us out.
Well, Doug, it's great to see you as always. Thank you, and happy holidays to you, the whole family and the gang. And you want to see this interview again? You can head to our website, looktvonline.com.